Well, it's our last segment. We've had so many guests on today. Coming up when we go into retransmission, it's Webster Tarpley, Phil Berg, Mike Adams, Porter Stansbury, Mark Stepnoski, and Tony-szamboti, engineer. You got cut off by the break. You had another point you wanted to make, Mark, about the magic bullet.
Well, yeah, just as far as, being told to believe a physical impossibility, the linchpin, I'm glad you brought up the Kennedy assassination, because the linchpin of that argument is the magic bullet theory. And that's an absurd theory. A bullet cannot behave the way that bullet was described to behave. So, if you're going to believe the official story of the Kennedy assassination, you're asked to believe a physical impossibility. And the same thing holds true for Building 7 and 9/11 in general. A steel building has never collapsed from fire. If you go online, you can see examples of other buildings in different countries throughout the world that have burned for hours and hours and not come down. That's why they build buildings out of steel. That's why your fireplace is made out of steel, because you put wood in there. Wood is a carbon-based fire, and it can't get hot enough to burn steel. So to be told that this building just got hot enough from, diesel fires and collapsed, it is a modern-day magic bullet theory. It's like the magic building theory.
Ooh, I love that, the magic building theory.
Asked to believe that this thing came down, but in reality, whether it's jet fuel or wood or anything that was burning in that building, diesel, fuel, that's a carbon-based fire, and it cannot get hot enough to melt steel. It's just impossible.
Let me back you up on that a minute, Mark, for a second, if you would. The reason, a lot of people say, when you tell people fire can't melt steel, a lot of people don't understand why. And there's scientifically, I just want to say real quick why. You can melt steel in a blast furnace, but that's because you have pure oxygen. A pure oxygen environment allows you to get to 3,000 degrees centigrade. But the byproducts are carbon, it's water, I think carbon dioxide molecule, or monoxide. You're only heating up 2 additional molecules, which takes energy if you have to heat them up. In air, you have 1/3 of the oxygen you would normally have, or a little less, actually. And then you also have to heat up several molecules of nitrogen when you have a fire, a diffuse flame.
Yeah, but everybody knows their stove doesn't melt when they cook stuff, and those flames are blue.
I'm just trying to explain why you can only get to 1,000 degrees centigrade or 1,800 degrees Fahrenheit, because you don't have as much oxygen, and you have to heat up these other molecules, and it's 3 times more. And that's why you can only get 1/3 of the temperature outside of a blast furnace. And that's why you can't melt steel, because it doesn't start to melt till about 28 degrees, 100 degrees Fahrenheit, or 1,500 centigrade. And you can't get hotter than 1,000 degrees centigrade or 1,800 Fahrenheit with any hydrocarbon fire.
Tony, I hate to interrupt you. We're going to have to do, I guess, 5 minutes of overdrive. I'll let you both go at 5 after. We're about to end the official show, but most stations carry this next hour, but I'm only going to do 5 minutes into overdrive like I did yesterday. Because I do want to spend some time, but I want you to be able to go back, both of you, on the science of this in the next little segment. But now I just want to give the website out. It's buildingwhat.org. And I know I'm putting you on the spot, Tony. Is there a phone number for folks that can't give online?
I don't know of one right off, Alex. I can find that out.
Well, there's probably one on the website. I should have asked you that before both of you guys came on. But Mark Stepnoski and Tony-szamboti, can both of you stay 5 more minutes?
Sure.
Okay, fantastic, because I don't want to cut you off the middle of your science. And I want to be able to also ask Mark about his view of the TSA, because that's all extension of 9/11. And of course, 5-time Pro Bowler, but what he's really known for in my book is having a lot of courage. Just as an aside, we have been contacted over the last 5-6 years by countless former and current NFL stars, mainly NFL for some reason, a few basketball players, and they always want to talk to me off air, and I'm a busy guy. I'm not a hot shot or big shot, but I'm busy. But I've called a few, and they just want to thank me and buy a bunch of videos and, sometimes donate, but they're scared. and these are big NFL, tough guys that I'd be, scared of in an alley. But they don't have the moral courage to go public like Mark Stepnoski. And that's what I really admire. People like Jesse Ventura, Willie Nelson, who are famous, they're wealthy, they've got a lot to lose, but they know they've got even more to lose if they don't stand up against this evil. If this evil isn't confronted, it's going to grow and grow and grow like cancer. We did find the phone number, and that brings up another issue. Architects for and Engineers for 9/11 Truth is helping the operation out of New York with the PayPal and the website building and the infrastructure. And 5% of the donations go to them to fund the infrastructure, 5% to first responders, which I think is great. And then, of course, 90% goes to the ads. So it's buildingwhat.org, and that is so exciting. Please donate today. But I just wanted to bring Mark Stepnoski back and tony-szamboti to just say closing comments from both of you. Anything else you'd like to comment on Mark Stepnoski?
Well, I'd just like to say thanks for having us on. I appreciate the time to talk about this, and obviously anyone who's listening, I would urge them to vote with their pocketbook. That's one thing you can do nowadays. Your vote might not count for much as far as the Democratic or the Republican Party. Your vote might not count much if it's made on a computer, but if you want to feel like you can actually make a difference, then vote with your pocketbook and try to help get these ads put on TV so that more people can become educated and we can create further awareness about what really happened on September 11th, 2001.
Mark, why do you think it's been mainly NFL players that have contacted me? Is it a different breed? I haven't really been contacted by other sports.
That's a good question. I honestly don't know if I can give you a good answer. I'm glad to hear it. It's nice to know that other guys in my former profession might feel the same way I do. But it's hard to really say, why that is. But I'm thankful that that is the case.
Yeah, I just wish they'd go public. It's one thing to say, hey, I appreciate what you're doing. I know the truth. Maybe NFL guys have contacted me because of you. I bet you've kind of led the way in that. I'm kind of answering my own question. By the way, we did find the number, and it's to Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth. If you want to donate by phone, it's 510. And I'm reading this from 10 feet away, guys, so make sure I'm saying this right. 510-292-4710, 510-292-4710. I got a big screen TV across the room. They put websites up, and I'm staring across the hall here. But I just want to thank you both for coming on. We're basically out of time to get into more engineering, but you guys have agreed to come back on together and say 2-3 months to look at phase 3 of what's going on. We've seen phase 1, big victory. Now we're into the second quarter. Boy, I'm really doing a lot of football analogies here. And we'll see what happens in the third and fourth quarter. But I just want to salute you all and hope you have a great new year. Any closing comments, Tony?
I'd just like to thank Mark for his articulateness, and I'm very impressed. And I think I appreciate you speaking out from your position, Mark.
Thanks a lot, Tony. Thanks for being on the show with me today.
I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Well, it's like Mark said, the truth will come out in the end. It was Victor Hugo that said if you try to bury the truth, it will explode with such force later, to totally destroy the liars. And no army can stop an idea whose time has come, as Victor Hugo said. Let me say bye to you both here during the break, gentlemen. I salute you and appreciate everybody, especially the listeners, who have made buildingwhat.org TV ad campaign such a huge success. Geraldo Rivera coming out for 9/11 Truth because of it. And no doubt, Judge Knapp said the whole thing's a complete fraud. We salute those men of courage as well. Retransmissions coming up after the break. Stay with us.